She texts you when she's bored, not when she's happy. When her night went sideways, when she needs someone to tell her she's great, and you answer every time because you've convinced yourself that being there, consistently, reliably, unconditionally, was what's going to eventually tip the scale in your favor. It won't. You are not a candidate. You are a service. Let's call it what it is. You are her emotional ATM. She makes withdrawals whenever she's running low and on confidence, on validation, on entertainment, and you hand it over without a pin. No transaction fee, no limit. Unlimited daily withdrawals, zero interest, and you somehow keep hoping that one day she'll deposit something back. She won't. Not because she's evil, not because she's consciously using you, but because you have trained her through every answered text, every "I'm always here for you," that every time you swallowed your feelings to keep the peace, that you cost nothing, and things that cost nothing are treated accordingly. You are free, and free things don't get valued. They get used until something better comes along. Here's the part that's gonna sting. She knows. Maybe not explicitly, not consciously, but somewhere underneath all the "you're such a good friend and I don't know what I'd do without you." She knows the dynamic. She knows you want more. She knows you're hoping, and she lets it continue because it's convenient, because your feelings are manageable, because you've never once made her uncomfortable by stating what you actually want. Your silence is consent. Your patience is permission. Every time she vents about another man to you, a man she's dating, a man she's sleeping with, a man who treats her worse than you ever would, and you sit there and listen and tell her she deserves better, you're not earning points. You are digging yourself deeper into a category she's already placed you in, a category with no exit. She does not lie awake thinking about you. She thinks about the man who didn't text back. Why does this happen? Because at some point you decided that likability was the path to love, that if you were supportive enough, available enough, understanding enough, she would eventually look at you differently. You made yourself a safe harbor, conflict-free, easy, zero turbulence. And what you didn't understand is that safety without desire is a waiting room. Nobody falls in love in the waiting room. They sit there until their name gets called somewhere else. Attraction requires an edge, a degree of uncertainty, the low-grade electricity of not being completely sure where you stand. You eliminated all of that in an attempt to be liked, and in doing so, you eliminated any possibility of being wanted. You optimized for comfort and got categorized as furniture. The anger you feel right now, that's information. That slow burn in your chest when she tells you about her weekend, when she sends you a photo that was clearly meant to make someone else jealous, when she says, "You're literally the only person who gets me," and then goes home to a man who barely looks up from his phone when she walks in. That anger is your self-respect trying to get your attention. Listen to it. Not to blow up, not to send the message you've been drafting and deleting for 3 months, but to finally clearly make a decision about what you will and will not continue to accept, about what your time is actually worth, about whether the crumbs of someone's attention are enough to keep you at a table where you're never going to be fed. Here is the exit. You stop being available on demand, not as a tactic, not to make her chase you, but because your evenings belong to you. Your emotional energy has value. Your attention is not a public resource. You start saying less. You stop performing. You let a few texts go unanswered and notice that the world does not end, but more importantly, notice that she notices. And if she asks why you've been distant, you don't explain and apologize and backpedal. You say simply, "I've just been focused on my own stuff." That sentence will do more for how she sees you than 2 years of being her emotional support animal ever did. Because here's the final truth. The man she ends up choosing is not the most understanding one, not the most patient, not the one who was there every single time she needed someone. It's the one who made her wonder, the one who had somewhere else to be, the one who valued himself visibly, not aggressively, not performatively, but in the quiet, unmistakable way of a man who knows he is not auditioning. You have been auditioning for a role that was never posted. Walk off the stage, build something worth being chosen for, and let her come to you. Or don't let her come at all.